Oh, for flip's sake. This is the worst bit, when you have to do like an introduction and sort of say. So welcome everybody. On the day's podcast, we have one of the best producers in the game. He's a DJ also, well known in the bounce scene. Makes tracks quicker than microwaves cook dinner. It's none other than Kritikal Mass, Steve Ingram. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good.
Not a bad intro there.
Yep. It's always the hardest bit, just trying to go right what to say. But that is true. You make tracks quicker than flipping 5-minute microwave meal. Like you must do. How long does it take you to do a track?
Well, it can take a short time. It can take a long time. It depends what track it is. But that Boris Johnson track, that took 45 minutes, and 20 minutes of that was listening to the actual clip
to
on
get
on
you
YouTube.
wanted.
Yeah, before I could take stuff off it. But the track just came together. No problem at all. Just lightning fast.
And hit the wave, because that was COVID. It went on TikTok and fucking must have been hundreds of. Did you look and see how many people had copied?
Oh yeah, there was one of the guys from Diverse. The band Diversity.
Yeah.
Not the main guy, it's Ashley, whatever his name is, but the other guy, he danced to it, had like 2 million views on TikTok.
Wow.
Just going mental. One night I was just sat there for about an hour and a half, just scrolling through videos and all sorts of people doing it.
That's crazy, because I remember you doing it, and I was like, Fitbits is going to go massive, and then the TikTok's just seeing loads and loads and loads of people doing them, see how many there was.
Yeah, so you get a track like that takes you about half an hour to make, and it goes massive. Then you spend 2 days on a track and nobody wants to listen to it.
I have the same. Sometimes I do 3 months on a track, and it gets 100 views or something.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do one, it's in 3 hours, and that seems to be the one people latch on to.
Yeah.
But today's podcast, I sort of get people in. We talk about their history and their journey to music. So we just sort of go right back, and your English accent. So I guess that you didn't grow up here then.
No, I grew up in a place called Keighley, which is about 20 minutes outside Leeds, in between Leeds and Bradford, in West Yorkshire.
I forgot you were English, and remember you phoned me one time, and then it was in English, and I was like. For a second, I sort of went, what wrong number?
I remember that. I think that was the first time I spoke to you, and you said something to me, and I spoke back to you, and you went quiet. And you went, "You're English, aren't you?" I went, "That's right, yeah."
I forgot. So, what age did you live there too, or?
About 18 when I moved over here. 18, 19 when I moved over here. So I've lived more in Northern Ireland than I have in England now.
What was the reason for coming over? Because I'm sure many people don't go, let's go to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, well, my mum's originally from here, so my mum's Northern Irish. All her family's Northern Irish, and my auntie got sick. So my mum came over to sort of look after her and help her get better. And I just came over and stayed, met a girl, and didn't go back. That's
the
usual story,
the
innit?
usual tale, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll stay. I'll give up all my mates and move over here. No problem.
So 18, were you into music at all then, or in schools? When did you sort of start thinking I like music?
Didn't like music in school at all. In music in school, I think for about 6 weeks we played Wet, Wet, Wet on the piano. Got split into twos, and I learned about the first 15 seconds of it. Just didn't enjoy music at all in school. I like music. I liked just pop music. So whatever was big at the time, I listened to. So even if it's whatever's on the radio. So Celine Dion, Think Twice. I wasn't into the dance in the 90s. Wasn't into the dance music. So you likes of Dreamer and Show Me Love and all that. Didn't like any of them songs.
Yeah.
No, it was just. I think I even went through a Spice Girl phase as well, where we'd listen to Spice Girls and stuff. And then I used to walk my granddad's dog. It must have been about 2000. Well, it was 2000, and my mate had left a Walkman at my house. So for anybody under the age of 20, a Walkman is like a little iPod, but it had a tape in it.
A massive iPod?
Well, a massive iPod, yeah, and it had a tape in it. So I was going for a walk. I thought, I'll just check this with me and listen, just see what's on this. Hopefully it's got some decent music on it. So what he'd done is he'd recorded the dance, the dance party from the Millennium. So I was listening to that, skipping through a load of rubbish songs, and then the launch by DJ Jean came on.
Yep.
And that's the first time I've heard it, and I just thought, whoa, what a track this is. So the next day in school, I went back to him, and I'd give him his Walkman, and these were old tapes now, so it wasn't like at the Millennium. So I'd give him his Walkman back, and I said, listen, that song, The Launch, brilliant. Have you got anything else like it, that I can listen to see if I can get into this dance music? And he handed me a CD. He said, yeah, take a listen to this. And he handed me the soundtrack to Kevin and Perry Go Large.
Yeah.
And that's it. Mm-hmm. Never looked back since listening to Kevin and Perry Go Large. Loved it. Loved Kevin and Perry. Got into dance music. And in Keighley, we had a V store, like a Virgin Mega store. And they had these like listening booths. So you go in and pick any CD up in the shop and scan it, and you can sit and listen to it. So we'd just be in there all the time after school, even at lunchtime. We'd go in, because it wasn't too far away from our school, and listen to all these songs and stuff, and started collecting CDs and just absolutely loved dance music. And then I got a game called Music 2000 for the PS1, and that's like making music. But it had basically riffs and stuff already put in there. You're just basically dragging and dropping patterns together and stuff like that. And then my friend had a Nokia 3210, and you could buy ringing tones for it, which were like a tenner a pop, but you could also program your own ringing tones, just monophonic ringing tones. And I would download some off the internet. I remember downloading The Launch and then programming it in for him and then listening back to it. It's like, I'm like, oh, that sounds all right, that. So what I'd then do is I'd take all these codes and stuff that I'd got for these ringing tones, and I'd put them into Music 2000, like convert over. And that's how I managed to start doing remixes in music.
Music 2000, don't tell me, James, what was that? Are we still recording now? All right, okay. It's all gone wrong. So we ready to continue just? So was Music 2000. I remember doing that myself. I think that was my first song as well. I'd done that with the pre-mixed loops and stuff.
Yeah.
Could you? Because I was trying to find it, where they import stuff, and so could you import MIDI files in? Was it or
no MIDI?
What was it then?
It was you get a piano roll, and you better put your own.
Oh right, so you drew your own thing in.
Yeah, but I then bought a kit, like a little kit, 1999, and basically what you do is the PS1 had a lid on it, and when you brought the lid up, there was a little button at the back of the lid that would tell the computer that the lid's down. And this little piece of equipment you put in there, and it had faked the lid being down, and so you could import your own samples.
Oh.
But you could only import a couple of seconds, so you could maybe import the riff from Public Domain Operation Blade, just one little part of it, and you could add that into your song. And then obviously if you added any more in, your memory card would just say, no chance.
So that was your first. Did you know that the dance music was going on, and you just went, I don't like that there back in the 90s? Or was it like...
I was just a sheep. That's it. Just whatever. I mean, not like I didn't like dance music. Anything that became commercial, I would listen to. You know, Cotton Eye Joe, for example, loved that. Aqua, one of my favourite all-time bands, believe it or not. They were sort of dance music as well. But it wasn't until I got that Kevin and Perry Go Large, I'm like, what is this? And my mate's like, this is called trance.
Yeah, so you realise that this is a genre of music, and this is like a culture where people go, this is all we do, this is all we listen to, and sort of stuff like that there. That's the same as mine, but I got there and like, when it was like, because I remember at P7 you saying the Walkman, I was walking around listening to Phil Collins and Red Wine and stuff like that there, you know. Yeah. And then the dance music sort of come out, and it was like, what's this here? And then people were saying, oh, it's rave music and stuff. So then I got fully into it then. But the launch was such a unique tune, wasn't it? When it came out, it was just like nothing like it whatsoever. And that was, I think, the peak of like dance music at 99, 2000, 2001 was definitely the Kevin and Perry era. Was 100% the peak of dance music.
But even the launch, is such an iconic track that even that new song out now, is it Heather Lang or something? Heather Lang,
Hannah Lang.
There's that same sort of sounds in that track, like halfway through, and it drops into a riff. So even that is still being listened to and sampled and stuff even now.
There's the music that's coming out now is very early 2000s and the late 90s 2000s. It's sort of housey, Like what do you call him, Patrick Toppin and stuff. Like it's like remember the old club heads and stuff.
Yeah. So when you first started making music, you make it so basic, a kick and a bass and maybe a riff, and then you spend 10, 15 years building up all your expertise, and then the music coming out now is basically what you were making 15 years ago. We didn't know what day of the week it was.
Just like a kick and bass.
There's a track that's just come out now. I can't remember what it's called. It's on Spotify. It's just been released. It's just a kick and a bass. And then they have this riff, like they just go do 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 do, and that's all it is. There's nothing else there. And then obviously a little catchy vocal. You're just thinking this sounds like stuff that came out 15, 20 years ago.
Even the symmetric, the 0008, the Heaven thing, just go did and that's it with a kick and bass, and you're like, that's probably the biggest tune of the minute.
That's obviously it's all on the back of that Calvin Harris.
The Miracle thing.
Yeah, Miracle. Since that's come out, everyone and the granny's basically putting something out like that.
Yeah. So you started then on the Music 2000. So were you really into it then? Were you like flipping all hammers and tongs, like sort of going, I want to make music, or did you think, this is just fun? Or
Well, obviously going from playing PlayStation to be able to make proper music, I'd never thought that would be possible. I just thought, I like doing what I'm doing on Music 2000, still collecting CDs, listening to dance music flat out, and then there was kind of a split in trance. What I would consider kind of a split. You had the sort of clublandy stuff started coming out. And then at the same time in Germany, you had all that hands up stuff coming out, like Marco and Digital Rockers and Cascada, Groove Coverage, Star Splash. Yep. And I loved both of them at the time. But my friends didn't want into dance music. It were all hip hop, 50 Cent and all that. They all think they're all gangsters driving around with 50 Cent on in the little Fiestas with windows down. So I kind of got defensive of dance music then, and sort of dug down and liked it even more. I didn't like house music, not even house music. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
There's maybe one or two songs that I like. Roger's Shanty has Another Chance. That sort of stood out, but it had to be like at least 138 beats per minute, melodies, everything.
I'm the same. Yeah, it needs to be like 140 or something above for me. Like I think 140 is the sort of sweet spot. Anything lower than that there. No, we'll probably get into it later. But in 2012, when the music sort of went David Guetta style, I just lost all interest, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell we're doing here. But yeah, so you're getting in. So what age were you then? The 2000?
15 or 16 maybe, around 2000.
Yeah. So and it's not. What was your next? No interest in DJing then at that point?
No.
Just in making music?
Not at all. One of my mum's old boyfriends were a DJ, and he let me have a little go. He had CDs, but this were like proper old school. I'm talking 2 CD players hooked up to a mixer, and you just swung the little knob back and forward. There were no mixing or BPM matching, nothing.
No pitch controls.
Yeah, we're basically a pub DJ. I didn't really like it. Didn't really fancy it at the time. Didn't even want to be a music producer. Just like playing, messing around with music and stuff on the. Because obviously, Music 2000, the tracks didn't sound nothing like what you listen to on the radio and stuff. So I never really took that leap. But then I carried on listening to dance music, starting to understand it a bit more, and then got a PC, downloaded a program called Muzzies, like a free demo. It was called Muzzies. Made a couple of tracks on that, absolutely terrible, and then tried a couple of different DAWs like Cubase and stuff. Didn't like any of them. And then FL Studio, got that and like that because the reason being is because FL Studio were blocks back in the day, and it reminded me of Music 2000. Music 2000 and FL Studio very similar in how they looked, so I got on well with FL Studio, and then obviously started just taking it a bit more serious, putting a bit more effort in, sitting up for 16 hours listening to the same kick drum over and over again.
That's like Peter in there. He does that for 3 days.
And then you go, this kick sounds brilliant. And then you put it in the track and it's terrible. Like, that's it. PC off.
Were you very, as a kid, like into technology and stuff, and to take to that there quite easy, or did it just come out of the blue?
What, like the technical side of music? No. I was into technology. PlayStations, loved PlayStation, all games consoles, loved like managing games, simulators, Football Manager and Pro Evo back then, actually, not FIFA, more FIFA now. And yeah, iPods and stuff like that. My dad wasn't technically minded, my granddad and my grandma weren't technically minded. My mum can't even work a mobile phone now.
No music in the family either?
My dad was big into music, loved music, 80s and stuff, loved it. My granddad liked a bit of music. He put the old record player on now and again, but no musicians or anything like that, really. Yeah, no musicians rock like that.
That's interesting, isn't it? Like my story's the same. Like nobody in my family really they like playing music, obviously, but nobody,
Yeah.
no musicians or anything like that. So you got Fruity Loops. I got Fruity Loops too after EJ, and I was
Oh, I
trying.
was on EJ for a while as well, yeah.
No, not EJ. Is it EJ?
EJ, yeah.
What's that there?
It's like basically like Music 2000
Oh
but
yeah, yeah,
for the PC, yeah.
yeah. I that there and then Fruity Loops. I went and I was trying that, but I hadn't a clue what the hell I was doing. And
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like, the sister was going even a filter, hearing people going on a track. I was like, how the hell? What is that there? And all, not a clue. So when you must have been coming up to the time you're moving over here, then was it?
Well, that all happened. So when I was about 15 or 16, my mum, I was just on Music 2000, and then I moved over here. I was about 18 or 19, and it wasn't until I was about maybe 20, 22 that I got a PC, and that's when I started doing music then. So I was already living over here at the time. And when I came over here originally, I used to listen to Energy a lot. Loved all that hands up music, were brilliant. All the hands up stuff were fantastic. Listened to a lot of that. So that was sort of the early inspiration into making music and the clubland stuff as well. Used to love when you get a CD, like a CD single, say it were Flip and Phil, like Irish Blue or whatever, there'd be like 10 remixes on it from all different artists and stuff like that. So you could pick which one you like listening to the best.
And so you still know those sort of friends in the music and doing the sort of thing that there? You were just like a lone wolf, really, just sort of.
Yeah, just sat in my bedroom. I did. I met friends with, right at the very, very start of getting a PC and stuff, I made friends with a guy called Wayne Bishop, who's Bouncing Forces. I sort of stayed friends with him, and then I made friends with a guy called Mickey. I can't remember his name. It's called He did it like a hardcore DJ. He's passed away now, but it was called New Foundation. He was from down south, and that was it really. And then I just post on all around the forums, all around the world, like message boards, and send a couple of messages to a few of the artists. The only one that ever got back to me was Kevin from Entrance. He was actually nice enough to reply and go, yeah, this track's all right. There's some good elements in it, but needs a bit of work, basically. It's just crap, but I don't want to tell you directly.
Yeah, but at least he's like, giving you some direction. That's what you want. Some people like out there just to go, this is what you should do, or add this to your mix. So what was your first sort of, your mixes and your tunes? What were you remixing?
Well, Music 2000, when I got Music 2000, I just make whatever were there, but then I would try to recreate the tracks, and I used to recreate Reason by Ian Van Dahl, because it's quite a simple track, but I sort of I memorised the chords, the riffs and stuff like that, even a little like laser sound, like right at the start, memorised all that stuff, and then Airwave was another one as well, by Rank 1, so I would start with them, and then just whatever acapellas I could get hold of, because at the time there was none of this RX9 or like anything like that.
That's crazy was just now.
What acapellas you could find on the internet, or just instrumentals, really, just loads of instrumentals, and they all sound terrible. I found an old hard drive a couple of months ago, and I was listening back to it, and it was shocking. I don't even think some of the stuff were in key, because you get a sample of a doink, and you play it, and the doink were in G, and you'd play it in C, and you'd be like, oh, that sounds great, and then 20 years later, you're like, that's that? And I play that.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you struggle at the start with like the music theory and getting things in keys and chords and melodies? And
well, when I went to FL Studio, when I started taking it a bit more serious, not really, because I'd already put the hours in on Music 2000, literally hundreds of hours just playing that game. I must have had about 30 or 40 memory cards just full of tunes and stuff that I'd done. So I understand it a little bit, and then just constantly looking at MIDIs and looking what other people had done and recreating the tracks, and then changing stuff around and that doesn't sound too good, and just stuff like that. Helped me sort of learn music theory. Tried to learn online, but couldn't understand what they were talking about. So I just learnt my own way. So sometimes when you're when you're working with producers and stuff, or in the studio with people, and then like change it to this or change it to that, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. This is the way I've sort of self learnt it.
It's like your woman Phoebe out of Friends. Did you watch that? Where she played the guitar, but she never do any chords. She gave them names, like I don't know, something else like. But then somebody she was trying to teach somebody, and she was going like a G major, and she's going, I don't know what that is. This is just a like I'm saying
Yeah.
something like a whatever. But that's the best way to. Everybody has their own technique, their own way to work. I wouldn't know most of the stuff either. Like James tells me, like that's an inverted G or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Just does it sound all right? That's all I'm asking.
Is it in cake? That'll
Yeah.
do.
I saw some of the dunk samples and all. Some of them were like in between keys, and you could hear they were like detuned out of the thing and stuff back in the early samples. So you had it. Some of the samplers, like you would have put it in, you wouldn't have knew it was G, but you just automatically assumed it was
Yeah.
a C because
Yeah.
most everything starts in a C. Like I say, so you put them in, and then you're like, we done that there too. Like well, dunks were out all over the ship. So when did you start getting traction then with your tracks and stuff?
Well, I started working with a guy called Lee, and this was like when LS System formed, which was like the first sort of real act.
Yeah, I remember him. What was his name?
Lee Wright.
Lee Wright. Yeah.
I worked with him for a while, and what I was doing is he knew a few people, so he was getting acapellas of people and sending them. I would make the track, and he would promote it. When I say promote it, he would upload it to All Around the World forum, which I could have done myself, and then get feedback off people. But it wasn't like it was like more like he just wanted people to go, "Oh, this is great, Lee, well done." You know, it didn't seem like. And then I was working with him for a while. And at the same time as he was uploading stuff, I was uploading stuff, and I messaged Scott, because Scott had written Scott Page from Friday Night Posse had written on one of the links that I put, "This sounds good, message me." So I messaged him. We got talking on MSN Messenger back in the day. And he was just saying, send me some stuff, send me what you've got. So I sent him some stuff, he gave me a bit of feedback. And then it would come back a couple of weeks later and go, "Listen, can you do a remix of this track? It's quite popular at the moment." So I did a remix of that, just sent it to him.
What name were you going out under at this point? It was just LS System?
I was going out with Lee as LS System, but when I was sending stuff to Scott, there was no name. It was just for Scott to play out and test out. And then Scott come in one day and went, "Listen, I've been to All Around the World," which was a record label, played some of your stuff and they like it. The only problem is that they won't sign any of it while you're working with Lee. So I'm like, why? And they explained to me that back then, when tracks were going out, they'd go out on a promo. So before a single got released in the charts, it had promo to DJs and they would play it out. So the promo CDs would go out to DJs. You couldn't just say, "I'm a DJ, send me a CD." You'd sign up to it. And so you get the promo, it'll have the track, the extended mix, and all the remixes. And he somehow managed to get hold of all these promos, and he'd always upload them to internet.
So they knew he was leaking
It wasn't
them.
just Clubland; it was all around. It was a Miniature Sound and stuff as well. I mean, his name on All Around the World was like Promo 7 UK or something like that. And because of that, All Around the World said, "Listen, we don't want to know what to do with that."
Stay clear with him.
So I said to Scott at the time that I'm not dropping Lee because I'm in music to make music. I'm not in music to screw people over. I want to make friends and just enjoy music. Well, Scott said, "Right, well, I'll come back to you." So he came back to me and said, "Look, not going to touch Lee, but they've said if me and you want to do stuff together, we can come up with our own name, and you can still work with Lee." And at the time, Lee was already working with somebody else. So I thought, well, we're not an exclusive relationship here, so to speak. So that should be fine. So I said to Lee, "Listen, I'm going to do some stuff with Scott. See how it goes." Lee said, "That's fine." And Scott had got a track signed under Friday Night Posse. Want to be a man, or want to be like a man, and he sent me the parts to remix it as Critical Mass. We come up with that name, Critical Mass.
How did you just come up with it, or was it just?
She just sent me a list of names and went, "Pick one." I went, "Oh, that sounds all right. We'll go with that one." Yeah. So we picked Critical Mass, did the remix, and at the same time, Harry, who was other part of Friday Night Posse, had sent the parts to Lee for an LS System remix. So I'd done the Critical Mass one, and then Lee had sent me the parts, and I've got these off Harry. I'm like, "Look, I've just done a remix as Critical Mass, but I'll do an LS System one as well." He went, "Right, okay." Did the LS System one, and the LS System one was actually signed, not the Critical Mass one.
Oh, okay.
LS System was signed. And then that was fine. Everything was fine. Still working away with Lee, and then Scott had got us a remix package to do for Ultra Beat. You used somebody, I think it was. And I'd done that, and then when that had happened, Lee had found out we were doing that, and then just went mental. Like, just started messaging me, going, I can't believe you've done this to me and all this. I'm like, listen, look, at that point, I'd already got 4 tracks signed myself under LS System, remixed them myself, got the parts, remixed them myself, sent them to Ministry of Sound, who had signed all 4, and they're already released with nothing to do with Lee. But I still put it out as LS System because that's what I was doing at the time. It even emailed the PR rep all around the world, a girl called Jo at the time, and said that he's part of Critical Mass. He wants copies of all the masters and all the remix parts. So she'd phoned Scott and went, what's this going about? And Scott just said, just ignore him.
Jesus.
So what he did then is he started going and putting my address and my phone number all online.
What?
Just proper screwball. So I said, right, I cut ties with him.
I think I can sort of remember this. I was on the forum, the All Around the World forum myself, and I think I can remember like a sort of bit of Barney between you and Lee. I remember people all turning on him like for some reason, and I'm putting up fucking posts online. I can't remember what they were about, like slabbering about everybody. Because I remember didn't you have, you got some vinyls released with LS System, were you?
No vinyls released, no. It was just, we did some remixes for all around the for Ministry of Sound, or Hard to Beat, I think it were at the time. But I'd done that myself. I'd actually got in contact with somebody at Ministry of Sound through Alan Aztec, remember him?
Yeah.
He'd put me in contact with someone, and then I'd done some remixes, did a Ghost production track of Alone for them. Did some remixes for him that got signed. One of them were Britney Spears, one of them were Jessica Malboy or something from Australia. A couple of us, they got signed and released, and then, like I said, that was nothing to do with Lee. I did all that myself, but I still put it out as part of our name, and then he took the huff, and then that were it. Stopped working with him completely. I think Scott even had to phone him and say, listen, pack this in now. This is the end of it. I want no more slabbering on the internet, no more giving off, knock it on the head. So that's it. Stopped working with him and just started focusing on Critical Mass. We did another thing called Urban Myth, me and Scott, which was a slow version of Africa. Yeah. And then we did a track with Lee Monteverde, which was Mad Atters. It was What About Now? It was an old... Westlife had done a cover of it, but I think it was an old Doherty track.
What About Now? Was that what?
Yeah, that's it.
That's my singing. That's going to go online now. Jesus Christ.
I'll just rip it later on and put it... and then that's how Critical Mass sort of took off, really.
You don't want to get in the wrong side of Scott, like, would you, like, because he's an absolute lunatic.
Yeah, I know Scott had his problems, and I know a lot of people didn't like him because of what he did, but people tell me, don't keep away from him and stuff, but he never did nothing to me.
I loved him. I was the same. Like, everybody was saying he's a loose cannon, like, you know, he's crazy, but like I loved him. See, every time he come over here, like, I loved him up. He just went absolutely bonkers, like.
Yeah.
Completely. We were saying in the podcast one with Jamie, we were DJing down in Dublin, and he was introducing us to come on stage, and he was like, these two guys are the hottest thing on the planet right now. They're just off the plane from Ibiza. You know, where Jimmy's going, fuck, we've only travelled from Belfast. Like, you know? But he was fucking nuts, like. Sad what happened to him, like, and he must be due for a release now.
He's out.
Is he out?
He's out. I've spoke to him.
Oh, brilliant.
I've spoke to him, yeah. He's staying away from music. I sent him some of the stuff that I've been doing. He liked it, but he said he's staying away from music now and just focusing on getting himself sorted. So he might make an appearance at some point.
I'm sure he will. He's not the kind of guy that just stays out of the limelight.
You see, the thing is, Scott loved music, and you know, once you like music, and you lose that music innocence, what I call it. Because back in the day, when you listen to music, you're not listening out for stuff. You're just listening to the music, and then now, when a dance song comes on the radio, you're like, what kicks he used? How much compression's on this? Like, what piano? How's he done that with piano? Is that sidechained?
Yeah, I know.
And you know, you just don't listen to the music. You don't hear the music. You just hear.
Can't enjoy it.
Yeah, you can't enjoy it as much. That's why I won't listen to dance music.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't listen to dance music whatsoever. And I feel like, I don't know if you feel the same, I feel sort of out of the loop, really, with all these people coming. Like, I go on to Bounce Heaven and download I just listen to and go, one sounds good, I'll download that and play it on my Facebook Live, but I have no idea who anybody is or nothing. Like.
That's the thing, when I DJ, I don't play other people's music. I just play all my own music, you know. I mean, if they want someone, like I'm not the world's greatest DJ, so if you want someone to play music, then hire somebody else.
Yeah.
Someone that can actually DJ really well. But if you want my music, exclusive Critical Mass stuff that you want nowhere else, then obviously
That's what I want to be. Actually, I want to be people that the DJ is like Nova Scotia, so you're playing just like Nova Scotia stuff. I'll play a couple of hours, but I'm not a DJ that we come play all the best hits of the day, because I don't know what the hell. I haven't listened to the radio, or I wouldn't tell you what's in charts for the last 20 years. Like, it's just
because I do a lot of them monthly mixes, a lot of them monthly like albums that I put out. I will just I sort of know what dance music's coming out and stuff, and I do a lot of other stuff outside of bounce that people don't know about. Like I probably released about, I don't know, maybe 400 house tracks.
how many tracks would you say you've done?
Well, the Critical Mass USB, the bootlegs and remixes for bounce, there's probably maybe about 1,000 on it.
Jeez.
And then, like I said, I've released 400 remixes, original stuff, all officially released right throughout the world that nobody knows because I don't put my name on it. It's like the full labels will be like house, because back in the day when say you put a compilation out, Clubland, and you want your Britney Spears song on it, you pay her absolute fortune, or you pay someone 200 quid to re-sing it and just pay Britney Spears royalties.
LNG sort of?
Well, I do some stuff for Nick. That's Nick Skitz's label in Australia. But I do other stuff as well. Some of the stuff's been released in Japan.
Were you doing LNG before the Critical Mass stuff?
So, towards the end of Critical Mass, I started working with Mickey Medell.
Yeah.
A little bit. I went up to his studio. That's where I met the likes of you and Jamie and stuff. Jamie woke up and I'd chat to Jamie. And sort of at that point, I think all around the world had sort of stopped signing tracks. I think Matt and Chris had sold a majority stake in all around the world to Universal, so we're all going for Universal. So I think they just lost interest, and they made the money. They'd done well. They made the money. So tracks weren't getting signed, and dance music were dying out. And I think, like you said, Guetta.
What year? So this would have been the 20.
Yeah, around. I remember the first song coming out by David Guetta, which I hated David Guetta because that Love Takes Over was a rip-off of Coldplay and Deadmau5. That dum 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 was just Deadmau5. That's all Deadmau5 did. So I just hated Guetta from the start because it just seemed to just rip off other people's music and stuff like that. So when that started happening, dance music had sort of bounce had sort of stopped. So I stopped doing bounce and just started focusing on house music and synthwave music. I still make synthwave now. I've put albums out on the synthwave. I've actually had a few people message my synthwave SoundCloud and message me going, "Oh, I love this track, mate." And then I've gone, "I'll get you the parts." And then I've messaged them back from my personal Facebook page because I'm friends with them. They're like, "No idea it was me."
Oh, it was you, yeah.
No idea. Like, this is you. Is this really you? I'm like, yeah, this is me. There's no idea. And there were people like big DJs, like even Ben Nicky were writing on. I've only got about 4,000 followers on it, but like Ben Nicky was writing comments on the SoundCloud because I was taking dance music like "Save Me" by Darren Styles and then remixing it like in the 80s style. So dance music for me, there's two parts to it. There's a creative side and then there's the production side. And dance music, production side is the hardest part. It's all technical. You've got it all sounding loud and everything's got to be in the right place. Synthwave's the opposite. That production stuff don't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's just all about melodies and right sounds and stuff like that.
Whenever that there was originally out in the 80s, there wasn't much like technical sort of stuff to do. There wasn't the big compressors and stuff that I have now. And so you had to deconstruct production.
Yeah, so even now you can make a synthwave track and then just fire a limiter over it and it's good enough to go out. Which I loved it. All the 80s chord structures and melodies and stuff, all really, really good.
Yeah, I like that there too. Did you think of going somewhere like a publisher or something, try and get some of these things sort of?
I released all the synthwave stuff. I just released myself through just an online distributor. Discro Kid maybe or something like that. Can't remember. Just released it myself. So it's all up on Spotify and all stuff like that. But I did get a couple of stuff signed to like big synthwave labels because synthwave was when doing synthwave. It wasn't massive. So there's one or two labels that did synthwave, but they're all indie labels. So I was thinking there's no point me putting it out through there to get to lose 50% of it. I might as well just put it out myself. which is what I did. Just put all the synthwave stuff out myself.
And this was pre Stranger Things, was
Yeah.
it then? So you were.
This was pre-Stranger Things, yeah. Before Stranger Things sort of shone a light on it.
Yeah, and that there's made it quite. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's retro sort of sound."
Yeah,
like.
even the Weekend and stuff like that. A lot of their tracks, you got the 80s chords in the background and very synthwavy sort of stuff. So it has become a bit more mainstream than it was before. But it's still, if you search the right artists, some of the stuff's brilliant.
It's very sort of atmospheric, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the synthy sort of stuff. Like, I like it too. So we're getting into the Clubland stuff. Had nosedived the shit. Like, nobody was playing bounce. I was the same. Like, I was making stuff, and I was just sitting in my computer. Even when I was making stuff, and whenever I was going out DJing, I couldn't play it because nobody wanted that there sort of thing. So I was playing all the electro sort of things. And then they were sitting on the computer, and I was like, "What the fuck's the point?" And I sort of just lost the pap. So what did you do then?
Well, I was doing house music.
Yeah.
Any whatever were big, whether it's big room, deep house, just pure EDM. I was just doing all that.
Were you enjoying it, or was you just going through the motions? Yeah.
Yeah, I like. It took me a while to get used to the music being slowed down and sort of deleting all your Vengeance sample packs and downloading a lot of new ones. But once I got used to it, I liked it. Still do like the synthwave music now. Sometimes it's made at I make it 80 beats per minute, sort of super slow and stuff like that. But I did like that type of music, Levels and stuff like that. I think one of my favourite all-time tunes is Levels.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was all being done for labels and stuff. Like I was ghost producing stuff for labels, and then I had a contact in America, Stu worked with now, where he would send me an idea of a track. So basically, he could license 15 seconds of Snoop Dogg. So he'd send me these 15 seconds of Snoop Dogg, and he'd write a track around it and say, right, produce this track like in this style. And then so you produce it. He could then release it with Snoop Dogg on the track as like official release in countries like Japan and stuff like that. Where the track wasn't already signed, maybe it was a filler on an album that Snoop Dogg had used. So he's getting tracks going out there as, I don't know, Joe Blogs featuring Snoop Dogg, which obviously made him big money. Because then I'd be doing stuff like that. And then...
What did you get paid? Did you get a 50-50 split? Or
No, I'd just get a fee for
just a fee
each track. It wasn't massive amounts of money, but because I was doing it regularly...
Yeah, it was good.
It
Steady
was
income sort of thing. Yeah. That's crazy, look. So was that the LNG you were doing the stuff for the housey stuff as well?
House stuff for LNG. I did some stuff for not Zoolander, Mental Madness, I think it was.
Yeah.
Mental Madness. I did a remix of Special D, Come With Me, in that sort of house style. A couple of them on the back of that, I got a couple more remixes off them to do. Yeah.
And the LNG stuff was quite big. That was the biggest after the All Around the World sort of went away. The LNG, I think, was the go-to sort of.
But in Australia, yeah, and they were still playing stuff down there, sort of bouncy stuff. That because obviously Alex Case from down there, and so they were still sort of playing that stuff. But it was like I said that I'd do some house tracks and then he'd have remixes from, because it's cheap. Like I said, it's better. It was cheaper at the time to instead of licensing Britney Spears' vocal, because obviously licensing the vocal and doing a remix and then clearing a remix. It's a fortune. They might as well just pay a decent singer to sing it, and then nobody cares if it's a different singer.
That was I remember that there sort of stage, like everybody was doing all the pop. Well, we always did do the remixes of the charty sort of stuff, like, but then was like all different vocals coming in. Remember the Flow Rida one I loved. Club Can't Handle Me Right Now.
Yeah, David. That's another David Guetta.
Oh, was it David Guetta?
David Guetta versus Flow Rida.
Oh, right, yeah. Aye. It was a bad time. Like, I just lost interest in music at that point. Like, it was like, so what the hell's going on? And did you just play away then? Just
yeah. Well, my music taste.
Did you ever
changed.
get a job in anywhere else, or was it just music?
Oh no, I was working as well. I was working a full-time job, working as a manager in a call center in Almar. So in between.
How long were you doing that?
Oh, I think I don't know, maybe 2015. I sort of ended doing. No, maybe a bit later than that.
So you were doing full-time work and then still pumped out a couple of thousand Critical Mass remixes?
Well, no. Once I started doing the Critical Mass stuff, what happened was I was doing the housey stuff, still working, and then I quit my job and did music full time. And when I did that, I went off the rail, not off the rails, but I lost all interest in music. I had because of the fact it became a job. I think maybe I was overwhelmed with it, and just thought I can't do this full time. I'm gonna have to go back and get another job. I got another job, local job, just doing the same sort of thing, managing a call center, and then music again. And then what happened was I was doing. Still doing the housey stuff, and then Jamie had started doing his Facebook live shows.
Yeah.
And he'd come down one day and said, "Look, there's only so many times you can play Superstar and Alice DJ, on these shows. He wants to do some remixes of all the tracks to play on his shows." So he came down into my house, and we did a couple of tracks.
This was under Floor Fillers.
Fillers, yeah. We did. What did we do?
You still were Club Smashers as well for a while.
No, I think that were him. That was just him.
Was it?
Yeah, and that's his email address, isn't it now?
Yeah, that's actually so.
We did a remix of Ultra Beat, Pretty Green Ice, and a remix of Find Yourself mixed with Tucker's Miracle.
Oh, okay.
We did those.
What speed were these?
These were Clublander speeds.
140.
So this is the first time I've done Clublander in ages. So I've gone back to the old sample pack, the 185 kick.
140 you were doing them, or was
142?
142.
So he'd come back and said he didn't want to do, because when I was doing the Clublander stuff, my main inspiration for the sort of Clublander stuff, I like the faster Clublander stuff, 150, 155, hypersonic sort of sound and stuff. And then when Jamie had come down, he said he can't go from Alice DJ at 138 to a 155 track. So 142 is what he said, do at 142. So we did a couple of remixes at 142. Played them on his shows, and they got decent feedback from him. And then I was getting messages going, "Oh, can I get a copy of this track?" So James said, "Yeah, fire away, it's all right." So I sent a couple out, and I thought, you know what, I enjoyed doing these couple of tracks, so I'll do a few more. Sent a few more, and then more messages, and I thought, just send them all out as one pack, put them all in one pack, send them all out. And was bombarded. When you're doing another one, when you're doing this, have you got a remix of this? So I started doing another pack. Did 1-2 remixes, put up on Facebook, then getting messages. "Oh, can you send me this track now? I want to play this now." I'm like, "Nah." End of month, I release them all together. I'll pay you 25 quid to send me the track now. I'm like, no one's getting it to the end of the month. And then that'd be just one message, and you spend more time telling people they're not getting tracks than you would actually doing music. So I said, right, from now on, end of every month, pack out there, a $5, you can download it. I'll put the extended mixes up, because obviously at the time I was putting radio edits and stuff up, which is no good for DJs, so I was getting all the DJs messaging me. So I started just doing a pack, bootlegs, mashups, faster remixes, bounce remixes, because nothing was going out at that time like that. So I just started doing that. And just
says it's 2016, 2017, where were
yeah, maybe 18, maybe 17, 18, yeah.
It's me and Jamie just started doing stuff then again at that time, I think. That's it, because I noticed that it was like everybody was doing the slower stuff, but then Jamie was doing his show, and he was playing like all Clubland, the old school stuff, which was 140 back in the time. So when we started doing it, he said to do stuff so he could fit in with that there. You could play the Clubland, then maybe a new remix or something like that there. And then you were doing them too, and then everybody in Scotland started doing them at that there sort of speed. That sort of grew again.
Yeah, sort of picked up again, and then it started going up to like 145 and then 150, and that's the sort of bounce heaven now is like 150. And bounce heaven now for me is Melbourne bounce. Yeah, just at that speed. Faster. It's 150. It's offbeat doink, and then the melodies are all Melbourne bounce sort of style melodies, which was like Will Sparks. Probably a few years before at 128. It's just that sort of up there at that sort of speed.
Did you like the Melbourne bounce when it was coming out? Will Sparks?
Love Melbourne bounce. Loved that Melbourne bounce sort of style.
That was the first, like
TJR. Yeah. Is it Utter Joy?
Utter Joy.
Oh, what a tune.
Yeah. When that there and Will Sparks. When I first heard them, I was like, yes, the music's coming back, because it was the first time I put it an offbeat in, which usually always like the David Guetta sort of thing. And I was like, yes, it's coming back. So when everybody started remixing the Clubland sort of style in the Melbourne bounce, and then it sort of went back up to the 140 sort of stuff. I was glad, thank God. I think that's when I first started getting back into it again. Then, because I wanted sort of because the bounce scene was dead when we were doing the 142 sort of stuff again. I sort of wanted Demons because Scotland got really big. I wanted Demons to sort of slow down to us, but instead it happened the other way. We sort of picked up and went to the 150, and I was just like, oh, it's too fast. It's going to go the way it was before. It's going to go
Yeah.
150, 155, and then people are going to go.
Well, that's what happened in all around the world. There was 138, 140 sort of trancy stuff, and then it started getting faster and faster and faster. And then I think it doesn't matter by
It doesn't.
York. Yeah, I think that was like 152 or 155. That's mental because that got a proper release on there.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant track. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved everything that Wayne did. That was massive inspiration. Was Wayne.
His melodies were something else.
Oh yeah, just brilliant. And like that's been released in the charts and stuff, and that's 152 or 155. It's too fast.
It was that Scott was telling me, was like, the music's good, but no clubs are allowing you to play that stuff. They're just like, it's just too mad. You know, it needs to be slower. And then when the clubs stop playing it, DJs stop playing it, people stop listening to it, and it just died.
Just dropped, and then David Guetta come in with his 128 stuff.
Yeah, that's the way it does, doesn't it? It gets faster and then just like collapses and then sort of
building back up again.
grows again. So when did you start doing stuff for Oscar then at the NCA? Was it around? Did the LNG stop then? What happened?
Still doing stuff
going?
LNG under still house aliases and stuff like that. Still do stuff for LNG. Still do stuff for the guy in America who ships to Japan and stuff like that. Do a lot of ghost production as well now for other people.
Yeah.
Do lessons online and stuff.
When did
like
you
that.
start doing the ghost productions? I
Um,
know you've always sort of done stuff for our people, but specifically people saying,
well, I think when I started to advertise it, I was doing ghost stuff for people already. Sort of someone would come in with an idea and go, oh, can we do this remix? Like, and they couldn't really produce. I'd just do it and say, we'll stick out as this or stick out as that. Or if I'd already done a version of it, I'd be like, just put out under your name. I don't really care. And then I thought, well, I might as well start charging people for this. If I'm going to do it, I might as well charge. So I started charging. But when I was doing synthwave and stuff, I was making packs of presets.
yeah,
Synthwave presets and stuff like that. And same with, so I started a YouTube channel where I made synthwave tutorials. Stuff like that, that's still going. And then started another Critical Mass where I just put my remixes up on YouTube and stuff. That's still working away as well. It's just finding the time. Like, I like doing the tutorials and stuff, but it's finding the time to record it. And I've obviously got to set it all up, like make the project files, and it's just don't really have time to be
and
doing
then post production on it too, like.
Yeah. Got to go back and listen to it, make sure the dog's not barking.
Yeah. Although it's not just as simple as just hitting record and then saying something and then, great, that's it, done. It's like all the things around it. I was thinking about doing like tutorials, and then I went like, nah, because I would say something wrong, you know. It says, I use this compressor on this here, and then I would just imagine all the comments going, you don't do that there. That's the wrong way to do it.
That's what you get. That's that. Well, you're doing this wrong, or that's wrong, or that doesn't sound right. I just delete, block from channel, and then just move on. Like, it don't. Like, if this is the way I do it. If you want to learn the way I do it, follow these tutorials. If you want to learn the way somebody else does it, work away. There's a guy called Dave Pensado. He's a proper mix engineer.
Yeah.
Does his own like in the layer, and he teaches people how to. Just tricks and tips. As I've been watching him for years. Still watch, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours a week of tutorials and stuff like that, and just to keep sharp and stuff. And you maybe watch 2 or 3 hours and maybe learn something that you might use once, or might never use it, but you still got to keep learning.
So, did you ever have anybody helping you in the production side, or was it just self-taught, or
production? No,
still self-taught?
Just all self-taught, yeah. And because I lived over in Northern Ireland, you probably know yourself. If you lived in England, it'd be different because you'd be up and down to studios all the time, especially when Clubland were at its height. You could go back, and that's how a lot of people learn, going to other people's studios and learning stuff. But over here, we're on a little island, and there's not many of us about. To be fair, so I've not really learned off other people. Learned some mix. It's mainly online, just mixing tips online and stuff like that. It's mainly be the go-to place for me.
Because your stuff, like, you're really good. And I remember, like, when you were doing them, like, back when me and Jamie were in Mickey's studio, like, we always listened to yours and went, well, it needs to sound like that. It needs to sound like that, you know. So you were like a reference, just going, we'll need to have it. We need to sound like that there.
And I was doing the exact same thing with other people's tracks where I
Yeah.
need to sound like this. It's not good enough. That's it. That's you get in that, and no matter, you know what I mean. No matter how good you are, you're always A/Bing it with somebody else.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good way of like pushing yourself, because if you would just sit on your like, that sounds
That's
good.
the thing. I see these people on Facebook and stuff going, "Oh, here's my new banger. This is an absolute banger." Just out the studio, and I'm thinking, it's not a banger. How's it a banger?
I know. It's
Not who's heard it. Who said it's a banger? You think it's a banger because you've made it. Do you know what I mean?
People try and hype it up, don't they? Like they use them from phrases like it's a
Yeah.
banger and stuff, and they're like,
People decide whether it's a banger or not. You release it, and if people, push it, then it's a banger. You know, if it gets to number 1 on Juno,
oh no.
that Juno, because of the synthwave stuff, I had a little bit of experience in releasing stuff. So for a test one day, I made a song, brutal song. Took me 5 minutes, brutal song. Released it, bought 5 copies. Number 1 on Juno.
Number 1 on Juno.
Number 1 on Juno.
The famous phrase, yeah.
Yeah, number 1 on Juno. So
Aye.
that don't really, all this, I've got number 1 on this website, all that don't really.
Sometimes I fall to it because it's just something to put in your Facebook. I go like, oh, number 1, well done. Thanks.
Yeah.
All 5 people have bought it, like, you know. But some people say like, I should be getting money for that there, and you know, I'm like, no, not really, because 5 people would get you to number 1 on Juno, and you would, to make like about £100, it would need to sit in the top 10 for about 3
Well,
months.
let's say Juno, you sell 10 copies on Juno at £1 a pop. Yeah, half of that goes to Juno, so that's 50p. Half of that will go to the label. You may be getting 25, and then PayPal fees or whatever, however you get paid. You may be getting 20p per single.
Yeah,
So you sell 10 singles, you're not getting a lot of money. £1, £2.
that's shocking. Like, but yeah, for revenue streams, you really need to do the ghost productions, the packs that you sort of do, bit of SoundCloud, bit of YouTube, bit of Facebook, bit of Juno, bit of Bounce Having it, and all these things sort of just get you enough to survive to keep going the next month.
So you do a track or a remix, then you've got to make the videos. You know, you've got to put it up on a SoundCloud. You've got to avoid all the copyright detection on SoundCloud, Facebook, TikTok. Try get it on a Spotify. You know, get it promoted. Reply to all the comments that you get. It's just, whereas before you made a song and you put it out, that's it. You've done your thing. It was always somebody else, but because obviously there's no big labels taking stuff at the moment, or do all that stuff for you, then you got to do it all yourself. And if you don't do it yourself, you don't get nowhere.
I know. That's what we always say to Jamie. Like, you always have to have stuff out there, because if you don't release something in 3 weeks, you're forgot about, really, aren't you? Because there's that much sort of stuff flying about. It's an absolute nightmare. And like you say, are you on TikToks or
TikTok?
what's your main one then? Do you would use?
Facebook, I think.
Facebook. Because we're old, you see. That's the kids are all into TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. YouTube's not too bad. I think I've about 20,000 followers on YouTube on the Kritikal Mass channel. And YouTube, the algorithm's a bit better. So if you put a song up that's a cover, YouTube will identify it as a cover and split the revenue with you and the artist.
Yeah.
Whereas Facebook will just go, this is coming down. You're not having this. Then you'll maybe like appeal against it, and then maybe 8 months later, oh yeah, it's all right. You can release it now. You can have it back. At that point, you don't get much revenue off Facebook. You don't get no revenue off Facebook unless it's stars, or you've got to jump through certain hoops.
Yeah.
To be able to get revenue off Facebook.
The stars, like I get like £3 or something every month, like.
Yeah.
But it only pays out every time you get 30 quid. So, like every year, you would get like a 30 quid bonus.
Yeah.
But Jamie was saying the other day, I have not spoke to him from it. Like, he's starting to go like YouTube, trying to get all his things up there on it. He monetized it, and then they just sent him a thing saying you're ineligible. We've took it off you, and he doesn't know why.
It's maybe because it's every year they do a review, and if you've not had so many hours, so many plays per year, they'll take it off you. Like my second channel, that's been demonetized, but it's only a few hours short. It's because I've not uploaded on the tutorial channel in about a year. So if I stick a couple of tutorials up, it'll put it back over. I can get it put back on again. But
have you separate YouTubes, or is it the same channel
two separate channels? But they're all linked to one account, so I can log into one account and see both of them now.
All right, okay, that's good. That's interesting. Because I'm wondering about where to put these here, and ones with my music, or have a separate one or whatever. So, could go more production now. Like, what sort of What are you using at the minute?
FL Studio. I use FL Studio, but I also have Ableton and Cubase installed. I can use them no problem. Use Bitwig. I've actually, somebody mentioned the other day on Facebook, I'm thinking of changing from FL Studio. You know, where will I go? And then you obviously got, you want to use Ableton, you want to use Cubase. And the thing is, you don't need to change.
Yeah.
You know, whatever DAW you know. Cubase, like, if you go on YouTube, there's a guy called, I think it's, what's it called? FLP something or other. And he'll remake a dance track that's out now. He'll remake it. And he'll remake it on Cubase and Ableton and FL Studio, and they all sound identical to each other. Same samples, everything's the same. So you can have this, you can get the same sound out of Cubase as what you can out of Ableton, as what you can out of FL Studio. The difference being, if you're just starting out now and you've not chosen any of them, and you want to pick one, I would recommend either FL Studio or Ableton, basically because there's that abundance of tutorials on those online. You know, you're best off choosing one that you're going to be able to learn from. But I use FL Studio, and I basically said that use what DAW you're comfortable with, use what DAW you know, but learn the other DAWs, because if you want to work with someone that's on Cubase, and you can use Cubase, then you can fire away. Same with like Ableton. I do sometimes I do stuff with DK.
Yep.
And I will do
He's
it
on Cubase.
Cubase. I'll do it on Cubase and send it over for him to work on as well. And then Ableton. The reason I use Ableton is Ableton has a warp feature. So if you're working with stems, say you get like a stem that's recorded live, so it's maybe off beat. Rather than sitting there and cutting every single beat, you can put it into Ableton and warp the kick into line. Then you can duplicate it, and then you can add in the guitar, and it will automatically copy the warp points from the kick onto the guitar. So you can have all your separate guitar, vocals, whatever, all the different parts, all warped to match the kick, all into the correct BPM. Mix them all down separate, and then drag it to FL Studio, and you've got perfectly inline stems to work with. Cubase, I like the vocal feature, where you can drag a vocal in, and then if you've got like a couple of takes of the same vocal, you can drag them in as well. I can't remember what it's called.
Fairy Audio or something, is it?
And it'll line up the other take with the main take of the vocal, so they're all like perfectly in time and stuff. And then
what Cubase is it you have 10 or?
No, it's not. It's not the new. What's the newest one?
I think James. What's the newest one? I think 12.
12. It's the one before that. Then it'd be 11.
12 beta testing, or is it out fully?
Yeah, it's one before it.
Time I'm gonna have to upgrade. Now I see upgrading this stuff. The new one.
You have to pay though, don't you?
Yeah. So I think if you're already bought, so I'm on 10. I think if I get it, if it comes out again, then you have to pay full price. Because if you're within 3 releases, then I think you only pay half or something like that. There, I mean, you can't upgrade from Cubase 5 to Cubase 12 for half price. They just get you.
CFL Studio is free. Every update's free. So if you buy FL Studio, every new one that gets released, you get it for free.
Jeez.
So I want what we're on 12, 13, no 20, 21 or 22 now, I think it is. And I've been with him in 7. So you buy it and you get them for free. Just lifetime updates.
I tried Fruity. Well, like I say, I started off with Fruity Loops. I didn't really know what I was doing, but then when I went down to the studio, they were on Mickey's studio. They were on Cubase.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn that there quick smart, but I've stuck in that there for all the years. And then I'd done a track like say when you're collaborating with somebody, it was Wilkie. He brought his Fruity Loop studio down. And I was trying to use it, and it was just like see things like copy and paste, because it's all the buttons are all around the wrong way, and like you're like
trying to learn the shortcuts and stuff like that.
So it took me like 5 minutes just to do something with it, like that there in Cubase, and I said I can't fucking do this here.
Well, that's what in Cubase. That's what I did. Is the first thing I did is I went in and changed all the shortcut buttons around commands so they all match FL Studio. So I can work that way. But yeah, so I use FL Studio as the main DAW. I've used Bitwig as well. Bitwig's all right. It's basically like Ableton, but it's a cross between Ableton and FL Studio, sort of like right bang in the middle. It's not too bad.
I think a lot of the youngsters are like but Fruity Loops is good for like I said, it's like cheaper, isn't it? Like so, well, if you're beginning,
it's hacked left, right, and centre.
So you're getting like free copies.
That's obviously.
I would always recommend. People say, "What one would you use?" I say, I use Cubase, but if I was you starting out, I would just go to Fruity Loops.
Well, that's what I do when I'm watching tutorials online from proper producers. I always look at the VSTs to see what they've got, if they've got their own name in the VST section,
they've
or whether
hacked
it's
it.
like Team Assign or you like. I think I watched an Avicii tutorial one time, and it's all Team Assign.
Yeah,
all
I
hacked.
remember that there come out like the Avicii one. People were saying he's using a hack copy of it.
Even Kanye West did it as well.
Yeah.
Kanye West put a picture up. He used Ableton, and he picture up, but in the top of the screen, he were on uTorrent searching for Serum, and Deadmau5 is part of Serum, so Deadmau5 set a GoFundMe up to pay for
to pay Kanye West.
to pay for Kanye West's Serum for him. He went mental.
Nightmare. But like I say, the tutorials are mostly Fruity Loops, some in Ableton. See, when I'm trying to learn something like in Cubase, and I'm typing in YouTube for like how do you do this here, Cubase.
Yeah.
There's fucking none comes up, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So then I have to phone James and go, James, how do you do this here? Yeah.
But FL Studio, because it's so easy to get hold of, especially cracked. And the people will tell you, oh, you don't want to get a cracked version, like it'll wreck your PC.
Yeah.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
I've used cracked software before, and it works perfectly fine.
I'm not computer like sort of literate where I can do all the things to get the crack copies on.
Yeah.
See some of the things that Peter done. Like you had to create a false drive or a virtual drive to put so as if you're putting CD, and I'm just going, oh fuck it. So when I upgraded my computer, because Cubase 10, they were only allowing 3.0 VSTs, so all the crack ones I had weren't compatible with it, and I just went, well, I'll try and get somebody to do all the thing with me. You know what? Fuck it, I'll just buy them all. So I just had to buy.
Well, that's what it is. When I obviously first start making music, or when you start to get better, you just want every VST you see. And you get cracked versions of them because you think it's going to help, but it don't. So I'm at the stage now where I own, I'd say 95% of them are VSTs, and the ones that maybe are cracked, I probably won't even use anymore. It's because you just streamline. Maybe 10 years ago I would have had 100 VSTs installed. Now I've maybe 15.
You just have your go-to things, and that's
it. And that's including effects and stuff as well.
I'm the same, because when I had the crack ones, and you had the Waves Diamond bundle, and there was like millions of different things, and then I was like, what do I really use out of it? And I only used like 3 things, and I went, they're only like 80 or 60 quid each, so I may as well just buy them.
I said you wait for sales and stuff like that. And when I bought FL Studio, when I decided to buy FL Studio, if you set an account up, right, and then when it asks for your date of birth, put tomorrow's date in, set your account up, wait the next day, you get a message off FL Studio going, happy birthday. Here's 30% off token.
All right.
And then you get FL Studio a 30% discount. And then obviously around I do own a copy of Nexus, which we do. We own a copy of Nexus,
we're on them soon.
And the banks are expensive, but every now and again they'll have these sales and stuff. And you maybe snap a couple up during a sale. Same with other VSTs. I think there's a sale at the moment for the M1, Korg M1. I've seen that online. Which is like the house pianos, all that sort of stuff from back in the day.
I think it's my turn to buy some packs for the Nexus, because I haven't actually downloaded ones that you said you've bought. You said you got new ones, but I haven't.
I've got download the 90s ones. They're pretty good down the 90s.
I haven't, I'm very, it keeps coming up. There's a new version of Nexus, one installed. I'm just like, no. I'll keep that there for about another year.
Same with Silent. Back in the day when you had a cracked version of it, when it popped up saying you want to update, no, you don't want to update because you update it, you'll lose the crack. So now when it's popping up, I'm like, no, I don't want to update, but I own it. It's a real copy. It was a cool update if I wanted. Silent, though, you have to, when you update Silent, you've got to download the actual executable file, and then reinstall it again like it's new, and it's horrible. Whereas likes of Serum, it'll just update on, and Nexus will update on the VST. So that's why I don't use Silent as much now. Spire. Use Spire a lot. Spire, Serum, and Nexus I would use. And then another VST, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like, what's it called now? I can't remember the name of it, but it's like, it's a sample, an old VST, but it's a sampler. And it has loads of like real dodgy sound, real weird sounds, like it has like flutes and sort of mallets and all sorts of stuff like that. So if I want anything ethnical, I can go.
Orchestral sort of. Yeah, Cubase has their own sort of Hallion, I think you call it. Like it has anytime I'm looking like a flute or something like that, there, a nice sort of violin sort of thing, I would go to that there. Aspire is the only VST I have in mind. It's a crack copy, and it does every 15 seconds. It goes shh. There's a bit of white noise on it.
It's not been registered properly,
Uh,
so you probably need to get that crack updated.
So what I have to do, I don't use it much now, like, but what I have to do is put the track out, right, and then I have to bounce at the audio, and then I have to cut where the way things are out, and then go right. I got that bit clear, so copy that bit over, so it all matches in. Oh, bloody nightmare!
You see, the good thing about a lot of these VSTs now is you can get them on like payment plans, so you're not having to go, it's 200 quid for this VST or 200 quid that VST, because people that are just starting out maybe will have that kind of money to put into it. So a lot of other payment plans, even Avenger, which is owned by Nexus, has a payment plan where you can get it on a payment plan now, and then Serum has a payment plan, Spire has a payment plan.
Is it paid off you've bought it, or is it like a streaming thing where you like a subscription?
Yeah, so you pay, I don't know, $10 a month, whatever it is, and then once you pay off the full price, you own it. It's your copy.
I think a lot of things are going to do that subscription sort of thing, where you have to pay £25 a month.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
So.
Yeah, no, I don't like that at all.
No.
But like you said, with Waves, at one point in Waves, I would have had maybe a crack copy of Waves with maybe 20 or 30 plugins. Now I maybe got one or two Waves that I actually own. I sort of, when I got my new production PC, I thought, what do I actually use from Waves? What is it I use? Maybe 3 or 4 VSTs, like you said, and you can go on and they have a special offer on now and again where you can get like free, buy 2, you get 1 free.
Yeah. And
they're only like $30, $40, whatever it is, per VST. So you buy a couple and just the ones that you use.
What do you use in the Waves?
The Waves, I use the what's it called? The VLA, I think it's called the VLA guitar.
CLA?
CLA guitar, CLA guitar. I use that, and I've started to use that now on leads. So I'll take everything off and just leave the compressor on, the compressor parts, take everything else off, and use it on leads and on pianos as well. I use it on pianos.
I do the opposite, because I take the compressor, the EQ part, and the first 3 I turn off and just use the reverb and delay on them there, and then I use another compressor just for putting them in. Like.
I like that compressor. I use the OTT a lot as well.
Yeah,
that's free. Free plugin. That's on everything. That's on my master, and it's on leads, on sometimes on drums as well. And I use another plugin like Kashmir called Essentials.
Yeah.
Which is basically like an all-in-one sort of plugin. You can just pick whether it's bass or drums or synths or vocals, and then you've got loads of little knobs you can mess around with. It's quite handy.
Yeah, it's hard keeping up to date in it, like all the different things coming out, and you're like, especially these AI things as well now.
Oh yeah, well you can get singers and stuff to sing stuff. Yeah.
Have you heard? I let Peter hear the other day, Johnny Cash singing Barbie Girl.
Yeah, that's
Jesus Christ, that's bananas, isn't it? Like,
mental, yeah.
I remember I was saying that Peter, like on the last time we were in here, used to, when we went down to Bangor to do production down there, and we was like, can you take a vocal out of a track? And he was like, no, it's like taking the sugar out of a cake after you've baked it. It's impossible. Nah.
Yeah, I have a program, Ultimate Vocaler or something like that. It can basically more or less take anything out of vocals, take the vocal out, and I've done a couple of Scooter remixes.
Yeah.
And when you try to take the vocal out, it doesn't work because the vocals are so high. So you have to pitch the original track down to its right sound, right sort of.
So
pitch.
he's out of the range then, or no? It's at the squeaky.
The squeaky part, yeah. So you take it down and then put that through, and that cleans it perfect, and then you can pitch it back up. But I've not pitched it up.
Cap it down.
I've got one coming out on Bounce Heaven soon. Logical song, but it's at the normal pitch. Like I've done with the weekend as well. I think I did at the normal pitch as well. So that's at the normal pitch, and then the rest of it's just obviously what Bounce Heaven want.
What way do you when you do tracks? How do you decide? Right, this is going to there here. That's going to there. This is going to stay in a pack. What do you do?
Normally the packs, so for the club anthems is sort of like whatever's in charts at the moment. So on Friday, Spotify update their new releases. So I'll just go on new releases. I'll just listen through a couple of tracks, pick out what I think is going to be big, or if it's a Joe Corey track, and then just do them for the pack. But Bounce Heaven, that it's getting that big at the moment. You submit a track, you're looking 4 months, maybe 3 months for release. So if you get a new dual Corey track, you release it on Bound 7, 4 months down the line, there's going to be hundreds of mixes out there. So the Bound 7 stuff, I would sort of maybe look at stuff that's not out there, that's not been done before, like, or even something a bit different. So this new one, Scooter, that I've done, Logical Song, it's got a bit of Maniac vocal in as well. You know, Mark McCabe sort of in it as well, and like that, you can release that now. You can release it in 4 months. You can release it in a year.
Nobody's going to beat you to it, really.
Yeah, no one's going to beat you to it, and it's a bit different. And so always, if ever anything different, I'll go. It's fast. It's up at that 150 sort of stuff. I'll go to maybe Bounce Heaven, and then some of the other stuff. Maybe it's a bit slower, a bit more hands up here. Or maybe pitch it to Oscar, see what he thinks of it.
I had the same problem like with Bounce Heaven, because I done that Naked and Sacred. You know, the Maria Naylor, because Billy Gillies put like the his version up online, and I was like, you know what, I'll do that there. So I done a mix, and then I went to Bounce Heaven with it, and they says, right, that'll be like, was it November or something, October maybe it was, we'll release date for it. And then the next day there was about 3 mixes of it out, and I'm like, fuck, by the time that comes out, nobody will give a shit.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just about being a bit clever in it, really.
I'm trying to do now where like, because before I was trying to do down the middle, I was trying to do like 1, 4, 5, and in the middle of Bounce, and had, you know, and they weren't telling me on Bounce Heaven, but now I'm doing, if I'm doing 150, it goes to Bounce Heaven. If I'm doing 1, 4, 5, then I'll give them the Oscar. Yeah. What's your biggest selling track in, you think?
Well, biggest selling track's probably the Boris Johnson one. That's done pretty well, because I released that myself. Did
Boris not come after you for copyright?
No, I'm still waiting. But I actually looked into it at the time because it got a lot of traction. I think it got in the Scottish, because obviously George supported it.
Yeah.
It got in the Scottish top 40 official charts in Scotland. So I thought maybe Boris does want a bit of this. But because it was a government speech, public government speech, it's basically free to use.
I think that's it. If it's on the news, in the news channels, then it's public information. So
yeah, I was all right with using it. But I do have like a YouTube channel, and there's a couple of tracks on there that have done really well. One of them has like 2 or 3 million views, and one of them is a mix of it's Avicii. I can't remember Avicii, the Penguin song. Do you know the one that Leona Lewis stole?
Yeah.
It's that in the background, and then it has I can't remember the name, but I Will Fight For You or something. Like a male vocal. Can't remember the name of it now. Just lost it. And that's got views, and I'm getting messages on there, comments on there going, "Oh, this saved my life. Like I was going to kill myself, and then this has helped save my life." And you get all these comments, like it's like that's mental. That you know. So for me, your Boris Johnson's biggest selling tracks, you've got people firing, you know, or videos of playing one of my songs at a big gig and they're all up there dancing. That's not really. But when you get a message like that going, "Oh, this has really helped me through a tough time and stuff," you sort of think, well, maybe it is worth, you know, it's not just about making money and stuff. You're actually helping people with these sort of tunes and stuff.
And you don't think that when you do it, that's what you're setting out to do, or that's what kind of impact it'll have on people. Like,
and even on the TikTok as well, if you search for on TikTok, it's just people like telling you how they've got over the troubles, and again, it's millions of views on TikTok, and you've got teachers dancing in school to it. You've got priests as a priest dancing in church to it. Just all sorts. People saying they've got over, you know, that they're in a domestic violence relationship and they've left it, and you know this song's helped them. It's just mental. Like,
what sort of speed is that there? What BPM?
So 142. It's 142. What's it called now? Andy something or other, I think it is. I can't remember the name of it. Andy, I will fight for you.
I said, "I will fight for you."
Yeah, that's it.
Like I don't know who that's like. I know it's like I know the song, but I don't know that.
Well, it's that song, but it's played over Penguins by Avicii. Yeah, that sort of piano. It's 142, and again, it's all over. If you search for it on TikTok, you just see. Again, watching the videos on TikTok, going through and seeing all these people from different walks of life in different situations, dancing away to it. You know, even brilliant. Big guys, big muscly guys, saying that they're having a tough time and this is helping them. You're like, that's mental. It's mental that, you know, that sort of stuff's going on. So your music and stuff.
Did you know you've DJ'd a few times? Like, do you like the DJing or what?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. The DJ. In fact, it was never part of the plan to become a DJ, but like you've got to do a bit of everything these days, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, a bit of DJing, bit of production, bit of you and Jamie do a bit of model work, don't you? On your covers of your albums and stuff.
Did you never do a shoot like a?
No.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone's asked me, listen, I've got my logo. There it is. I wear a T-shirt that says Critical Mass on it, so I know it's me. Apart from that, they're not here to see me. They're here to listen to music. That's it. Same with all these people. Oh, you DJs don't know the born. You know, it's got to be vinyl. Vinyl's the way forward. Not these are real DJs. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
I know.
Can I remember DreamWorks, the animation company, Pixar, is it?
Yeah.
They got commissioned to do a 5-minute video for a company, and they did this 5-minute video, and they used really old software, but did it all by hand. And then another company did the exact same video. Yeah, it took them 10 minutes because they used computer. And then Pixar were complaining, they've not used the right software. It's not authentic enough, but it's identical.
Yeah.
And the studio, whatever it says, why would we pay you this amount to work on this for 10 hours when this guy can do it in 10 minutes? Yeah. Streamline. It's the same with this. Why would people care? If you're drunk off your face, and you're in the middle of the dance floor, do you care what form is Sandstorm being played? Whether it's do you see people storming off? Or I can't hear the crackling from the vinyl. That must be an MP3 rip. I'm out of here. No, they just don't care.
It is. It's sort of like I think it's more vinyl DJs that haven't made it as DJs, and they're going like, no, well, you can't do it like me. That sort of attitude. I don't care either. Like I have the vinyl decks, but I only use them so I can use my vinyls because I don't really. It's like the nostalgia of it, but.
So that's how I don't own any vinyls. I don't any vinyls. The only vinyl I own is proper vinyl, like from back in the day, from like my dad's records collections.
Right,
I think I've got the Grease Megamix soundtrack, the original copy. So I'm waiting for that to go up in value, and that's going straight on eBay.
Have you never went through them and seen I might sample that or?
Actually, funny enough, I was sat in the car yesterday, or not yesterday, before. And I was flicking through radios and put the 80 station on, and there were a couple of tunes on. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling my girlfriend, I'm like, Vicky, text me that name and that song, and I'll go do it when I get home. And so there's a new one. I've just sampled it, but it's at 128, so I'm going to have to find a way to donk it up, otherwise people are interested.
Yeah.
People, they won't listen to it.
It is funny when you hear, like, or you're watching films or something, and then you like a speech, and you go, oh, that might be in there.
Funny, I was watching a TV show. You heard of Chuck?
Chuck, no.
It's a TV show. It's about this Chuck gets a chip put in his head. It's just a normal salesman, but he gets a chip put in his head, like a computer, and it can just say like learn kung fu. Next thing will be a full kung fu artist. It's like a spy show, and there was an episode on. He works in like a Curry's, and at the end of an episode, they're ending the episode. It's a comedy. It's like an action comedy sort of TV show. It's an old one. At the end of it, as they're leaving, music's playing in the background, and they played Africa by Toto, and I thought, that could do with a new version. That's brilliant, that song. Straight on a computer, ripped it off YouTube, made the song, sent it straight to Scott, and then bang, next thing, all around the world they're coming back and saying they paid $5,000 to have this replayed. And that's it. So that's, like I said, with the speech as well, I'm sat watching the news thinking, he just rhymed there. I think he said PPE to the people that need it, and I think that rhymes. I'll just take that off and stick it in a wee track.
That was probably like a focus group they probably done for like hours and hours to come up with something to say that they would catch on to the people.
Yeah, well, the next one that came out, the next speech it came out with was Hands, Face, Space. And that came out after, and I'm thinking, has he listened to my song and thought, rhyming's the way forward here? Is this what this is what he's done here? Hands, face, space. He's got a little catchy. He wants me to remix this as well. That's what Boris wants.
It's funny. Like, I think that there we've sort of said anything. Who else is Steve Ingram and Away From Music again? What about that?
Who's what?
What else are you into?
Angry gamer that should maybe hang up my FIFA boots, probably shouting and screaming at the TV. Shouting and screaming at the TV one day, and then I heard my daughter giggling, and I turned around, she's recording me. Recording me shouting and screaming at this kid on FIFA.
Some 10-year-old somewhere.
I remember I was playing an old wrestling game a couple of years ago, and I was playing this wrestling game, and when you get pinned, you got to press your buttons as hard as you can to kick out the pin, and are having this fight. I was stone cold, I can't remember who it was. and we were fighting, and both his bodies were wrecked. We were fighting for about half an hour, and I actually got a blister on my thumb, like swiping the, and I'm both red, and I kicked out of this pin that I shouldn't have kicked out of. He went to do his finishing move, and I stunned him. 1, 2, 3, and I jumped up. Yeah, come on! And I got a message, and about 5 minutes later, I got a message. Bang! Do you want a rematch? My mum said I could stay up for 10 more minutes. Like, get that off. That's me done. That's me done in that game. Get that straight off. I don't want to play that no more. Yeah, so a bit of gaming. Big love TV shows, but like again, TV shows. As soon as you hear a song on a TV show, could you remix that and you straight onto the computer. A lot of production that I do, I would say 99.9% of everything that I do is on headphones.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I plugged in studio speakers. It's on headphones because I'm using I know how the headphones sound, and I know what I need to compensate for. There is plugins that you can get that will mimic your headphones as if they're in a studio, but I know what sort of plugins, I know what sort of sounds that I want, and I know how I want it to sound.
I use headphones too. Like that's
So I just used headphones, and I always mix into start off with FL Studio blank canvas every time. Same samples. I use the same samples a lot, but I always start blank, and then I put I have a master bus that I put on a couple of VSTs on it, and then just mix into it. Because if you don't mix into it, you mix the track, and then once you start mastering at the end, for me the sounds change, especially with my master bus, because sometimes it can be quite hot. So I prefer to mix into it, and as I'm going along,
with the master stuff on while you're working and mixing.
Yeah. So mix straight into it's on, and I'm putting the stuff in as I'm going along, and I'm mixing it as I'm going along. So when I get to the end of the track, once it's mixed right, it's done. I just mix it straight down. That's it. That's the track done. Rather than mix it down and then bring it back in and master it, and then because I did for a while not mix into a master bus and then get the track and bring it into a master bus at the end, and I found myself, them sounds are too hot, so I'm gonna have to go back to the original and change the sound. So it's pointless, because I've seen a tutorial online that tell me I shouldn't mix into a master bus. I'm sat here doing this, so
I done it the way you do it for ease, but then the computer started glitching because I had all these master things on, so I had to have the master separate now. And like you say, you bring it in to the master, and then you go, oh, that hi-hat's 1 decibel too loud, so then you'd have to X out of that, go back into that, turn it down, export out into the master, and then check it again and go, no, now the simp's a bit there, and you have to go back in there, and it takes ages.
That's maybe why it takes you longer to do a track.
I mixed down 23. Here we go. Let's see if that sounds all right.
Well, in FL Studio as well, you can you have like a little bar, like a little menu down the right hand side, and you can save MIDI patterns. So what I would do is I would save patterns, hat patterns, kick patterns, clap patterns, and stuff like that. So I could just drag them in, bang. So instead of having to go in and put the kick in, I've got an 8 bar. I always work in 8 bars. I've got the 8 bars, so I can literally put a beat together in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's not like, that's how I'm able to work fast.
I watched one tutorial or one live you were doing it, like, and do you once you start a track, do you just fucking keep going until you finish? No breaks, no just.
See, the thing is, if I need to take a break, I take a break, but I can do a track in 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I can get it done, so I don't really need a break. I wouldn't make a track and then mix it down and then send it straight off. I'd once it's finished, I'd save it, come back the next day and listen back again, because obviously your ears will adjust to what you want it to sound good. But
have you good focus though? Like, are you good like work ethic and sort of?
No. Well, focus. I mean, I've kids. I've a 4-year-old who will run around, and I've an 8-year-old that will run around and fight. And I will basically sit on my laptop in the front room with my headphones on. I'll have them running around. I'll have a TV playing full blast. I'll have an iPad going, and I'll have my partner running in and out. Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And at the same time, I'll be listening to a YouTuber, like a streamer, on in the background.
And that's how you work?
Yeah.
That's absolute chaos.
I know exactly. I make the track, and then maybe I'll go back later on that night when there's no one there, and listen back and think, yeah, it sounds all right. That's enough. Like the tracks like the packs that are out there, they're not that they won't be my best work. Like if I've done it, I recently did a mix for King Varden, I think they are. It was for Ian Van Dahl, who said do the remix. that was different. I started working
yeah.
complete silence and worked on that, and then went back to it and back to it. And I found myself, the more I go back to it, the more time I put into it, the less confident I am about the track. Finishing it off, so fly through a track. I would start with so I would listen to a track maybe on Spotify. I would listen to it and go, you know what, I think that sounds like, I don't know, that sounds like Rank 1 Airwave would work with that. Bang, get the acapella sorted, get the acapella in, drums in, bass line in, then chords. You always use the piano, put the chords in, see if I can get the chords to work. Once the chords work, that's basically it. So I'll have a loop there with the vocal, all the drums, the bass line, the chords with a piano, and then I will just work on melodies, put a couple of melodies in there, and always do the radio edit. And then once the radio edit's done, I'll mix that down as a radio edit, and then go back and extend it. The extended thing's always the same for me. It's 16 bars of beats, 16 bars of beats with bass, track, and then the same going out. Because I noticed, like, when I'm watching people on live streams and stuff, you can tell they're fairly new to it, and when they're using my music as when they're DJing with my music or learning with my music, it's always I always do 142, 145, or 150. That'll be it. So if they've got a folder of all 142 stuff, it's just a case of soon as the track ends, you press play on the next deck, and they'll just play themselves. You don't need to worry about one being longer than the other or anything like that, and they'll just merge into each other. So it's quite handy for people that are learning to DJ as well to sort of play my stuff.
I always keep mine the same, but my extended is like half of what yours is.
Yeah.
I don't do the kick and the bass. I just do kick into the thing, because whenever I was DJing, having the, when you sort of flipping, it's the bass just in the kick going, and then people are going like, oh, I don't know this song, so they go off the floor.
Yeah.
And then when it stops, they come in the break, they go, oh, now I know it, and they come back on. You're just like,
when I'm DJing, I'd start the track a bit earlier. It's perfect for people that are learning to DJ and stuff like that. Like whenever I send my stuff to Harry, he does like a radio show, like a live stream on a Friday night. He will edit it to bits, like a 5-minute song that I send him will maybe become like 2 minutes once he edits it down. And then he'll always complain, oh, this track's starting, is it? When he's mixing, it's starting quick.
Do you ever do tracks and then go, yep, that's it, perfect, send it out, the label or something, and then you go, oh, fuck, why did or there's something I don't like about that, or I wish I had done this or that, or do you just not care?
Well, if I'm sending it out to a label, many a time that's happened where I've made a track and thought, that is brilliant, that is fantastic, and then I've come back 20 minutes later and played it and went, oh, no, that's terrible, that's horrible. I've done that many a times, and all the time that happens. I'll do a track and I'll finish it and then go, I don't like it, just start it again, completely start it again. And then like the number of tracks that I've got that are half finished or finished and just not released, loads of them. But if I'm sending stuff to labels, Bounce Heaven and stuff like that, I'll make sure that I'm happy enough for it to go out, because obviously these people are busy. You don't want to be sending them tracks that you don't sound good, and then go back and go, look, don't really like this. And you think, well, I can change this. They're not there to give you feedback. They're there to release tracks, in my opinion anyway. So I always make sure that it's ready to go. Yeah,
I always think I do it, and then I let it settle for a few days, and then I play it in my lives 3 or 4 times, and then go, yep, that's it, perfect. Send it to a label, and then see when the time it comes out. For some reason, I just hate it.
And you've heard it that much.
I don't know if I've heard it that much, or just like go, I don't like the way it sounds now, or something. That's like, so I very rarely play my stuff once they're released for some reason. Like maybe people are critical of their own stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, I have like a handful of DJs that I will send stuff to, and maybe send these DJs 5 or 6 tracks. Then I'll listen to the radio shows that they do, and I maybe hear 3 or 4 of them on there, sometimes 1, 2, and you'll know they don't like the other ones, because you send a track to somebody for feedback, like, oh, this track's banging, and it's off key. They're just saying that to you because you've sent them a track. So it's difficult to get proper feedback. And you can't go with the feedback off YouTube. Oh, this track's rubbish. You've ruined it. You can't get that feedback. So you get it off. You send it to people at radio shows, and you'll see. I get a lot of support of, obviously, George plays a lot of stuff in Scotland. Ian, an Indie Man Radio there's that many Critical Mass remixes playing that show. People don't even know half of them. So I get a lot of support off him. So when I send him stuff, he'll come back to me and go. He'll either come back and go, "This is great," or he'll just ignore me.
Yeah.
So if he ignores me, I know, right, he don't like this too much. And then Harry will play stuff and tracks that he don't play, I'll know that he's maybe not too keen on.
So when you're doing your promos, because I always forget to send people, and once I do them and then send it to the label and I forget and move on, like I never really send the Ian or send, I always forget, and then they say, have you any new stuff? And I go, fuck, that's right, it's been 3 months since I've sent you anything, and then I send them a big folder. So if you got who has your DJs, your A-list sort of?
Oh, so George will get copies, Harry will get copies, Ian will get copies. Entrance.
Kuda or?
Kuda's not in Entrance.
Oh no, well.
No, Dave from Entrance, I'll send it to him, and Danny D. Because Danny will give me, he's probably the only one that will give me proper feedback and go, this is crap, this is not crap. So yeah, that's normally what I send them to. Sometimes there's others, like the number of people I get messaging me going, send me this track. Like even now on SoundCloud, I've 4 messages this like in the last 2 days. Love this track, send it me. I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Oh no,
I don't even know who you are. Whereas if you come to me and go, send me some stuff, no problem. There you go, Ron, bang, no problem. I would have a handful of people that I would send stuff to that way. Like if Jamie ever asked for, Dougie in Scotland, or I don't want to start naming names, so I don't want to leave people out.
Yeah, but everybody will be.
I'll be like, well, I'm not like this, but yeah, I'll have a list of people that I'll send stuff to, no problem. If they ask for it,
I get some people like you've never met before, and they just like randomly send us some stuff, and I'm like, it's out on Juno or whatever next week, and they're. But can you not send me it? I'll not give it out to anybody.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, if I give it out to people like you and everybody ask it, then nobody's going to fucking bat.
I've got, or I had one. I'm DJing alongside Andy Whitby on Wednesday. Can you send me your tune? I'll let him hear it. Yeah. If I want Andy Whitby to hear it, I'll send it in, mate. You know what I mean? Just calm yourself down. I'm doing a live stream. It gets 200 people watching. I'll promo your stuff. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just do that myself. You're all right.
And it's hard to and I get that awkward like saying no to them, but then you have to draw a line somewhere, don't you?
That's what it is, and it's having that discipline as well. Like especially when you hear people put out a track, and you're like, that track should never have been put out. It's off key. It sounds terrible. You should have someone that you can send it to for feedback. But you put it out there because you're too keen to see what people think about it. You think it's good, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't get that way. People go put something up and go, it's nearly finished. What do you guys think? Or this is, I'm started this. What do you think? And it's just wait until it's
done. And having that discipline to be able to hold off to a track's finished and you're happy with it, and then go, right, here's a sample of this, or what do you guys think of this? That's that's one piece of information, one piece of advice I would give new producers. Don't get a track done and then stick it straight out there for feedback. Have a couple of friends or a couple of close people that you can send it to get honest feedback from. And same with sending out your tracks. Don't devalue your work. If somebody sends you a message saying, listen, I DJ with Paul Van Dyke, next door neighbour, we've got 20 people listening to us, send me your tracks now. Don't just fire them out there. Just say no. Unless it's going to benefit you, don't send them out there. Yeah. Don't start giving stuff away for free, because you start giving away stuff for free,
people expect it.
They expect it all the time, and your stuff will be all over the place. Yeah, so
all over.
I mean, I do give tracks away for free now and again. I'll put tracks out there, normally around festive times, so Christmas or Halloween. I'll maybe do a mix and fire it out.
I would do that. So I done 3 bootlegs, but it was only because the songs of the remix was like people I respect, so I didn't want them to see that I was selling their tunes.
Yeah, so I have a few people that I won't touch their stuff, because I know they'll want me to up it. Like I got the bootleg, or I think it might have been that Alice DJ and Joe Corey one. I had Alice DJ's manager emailing me, going, pay me for this. I pay you what, mate?
Is that your Better Off Alone and versus? Sorry. Yeah, I played that one.
Yeah, they're like, you're selling this, it's on YouTube, how much money you're making? And at the time, my channel wasn't monetized. I'm like, I'll send you the reports, I'll take it down, but I'll have no money to give you for it. It's not made no money.
Me and Jamie done the Better Off Alone remix for our album, the Rebirth album.
Yeah, I remember Jamie saying about that.
And we paid for licenses, it was all replayed, and they just went, fucking, no, doesn't matter. But they want to take it down, and my distribution company just sent them money from my account, £900. That's what we made of it, so that had to be scrapped. Like,
Yeah.
but there was no comeback, no, we'll try and work this out. It was just no, they're not, because who they were, that and I was just a wee
Yeah.
dick. Fucking.
Well, that's what YouTube is, isn't it? Really, if you put a track up on YouTube, anybody can claim it. I could go on and claim all your tracks; they're all mine, and they will instantly just say, "We believe you."
Whoever puts it up first and goes, "This is my track," then.
Even at that, if I go on your channel tomorrow, I could literally claim every video you've got, say it's my work, and you would lose all the revenue. You would have to then prove it's your work, and contracts and stuff. And people do it because they just don't have, and the people will just not have time to do it. People claiming work that's not theirs just to make money off it.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
I always wonder, the guy Ori, what does he make? Because his YouTube's fucking massive, isn't it? Like,
it depends if it's monetized. If there's adverts running and stuff, and obviously you can't claim. It can claim it the music, but sometimes YouTube will automatically recognise it as a Calvin Harris track and just give Calvin Harris a revenue instead. Yeah. It's the same as Spotify and stuff as well. Spotify will just strike you and just take you off the premium program or premier program, whatever it is. Jeez. They just don't care. They take one strike, you're off it for a year.
Is it? Oh, for a year? So it's not like...
3 strikes and you're off the platform completely.
SoundCloud as well. I get tuck off the monetizing. I tried to say, what song is it? And they just wouldn't give me an answer to say, what song was it? You know what I mean? Because anything I put up there, anything with samples I never monetized, anything I had licenses for, or my own stuff was the only things I monetized. So I was trying to say, what one was it? We'll try and sort this out, and just ignored it.
SoundCloud are absolutely shocking. Like there's no problem taking the money off you to pay for the premium. Oh, that's like clockwork. But when they actually pay you, it could be the start of the month, the end of the month, could be 2 months down the line. It could be anywhere. SoundCloud's a real cowboy company.
Yeah, they are. So I think we're end it there. Anything else you want to say, or where can people find you? And
Critical Mass Music. That's on Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Facebook's probably the best one, and then whatever I put on Facebook, I put on YouTube. SoundCloud, don't bother with.
I know you put there's so many different things, but you're putting the same stuff on every bloody single one, aren't you?
Because that's, you put a song on a video on Facebook, and then someone on Facebook will be like, "Is this on YouTube?" Yeah. So then you put it on YouTube, and someone on YouTube will go like, "Is this on SoundCloud or is this on Spotify?" So you're best off just doing it all in one go and just sticking them all up there.
Yeah, that's what I have to do. It's a nightmare, time consuming.
That's what I mean. You're taking away time doing the music, but.
And then you're good. You're really good at the videos and stuff as well. Making them.
I just copied a tutorial offline.
I tried to do them. All I can do is the spinning CD. Not hear me. Fuck, that'll do.
Yeah. FL Studio actually has a program now built, like a VST built in, that'll do it all for you. Oh. You make your own little thing and stuff on it, but.
Interesting. Yeah. So. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks Steve for coming down. I appreciate you coming down, telling us your story.
No problem.
And that'll do. Yep. Thanks everybody. Cheers.